stories tonight. This first one took place just down the street. When I first moved to Oakland, I got a job at the phone company. I was the quality observation monitor. When you call the phone company in here, this call may be monitored for quality and training purposes. I was the monitor. I would listen to phone calls all day long. I had 300 different people I had to listen to every week. I'd listen to about 60 a day. Once I figured out that people's jobs were in my hands and I could actually get them fired, I stopped saying they were doing a lousy job and just said everyone was perfect so they could keep their jobs. There was like moms who had kids my age and stuff, and I didn't want them losing their job. For the most part, it was a very boring job, and I'd spend most of the day reading X-Men graphic novels. But every now and then, just every now and then, I'd actually do my job. So one day I was listening to a phone call. There was a male customer and a female operator. He was late on his bill and he was trying to keep his phone turned on. And out of the blue, he says to her, "So what are you wearing?" And I'm like, holy cow, and I put the graphic novel down and stood up and got ready to hit the interrupt button. And before I could hit the interrupt button, because I was going to chew him out and be like, "Sir, your behavior is completely inappropriate," and then go tell her, take a few minutes break, sorry, this is part of the job. Before I hit the interrupt button, she goes, "I'm wearing a lime green top, a black miniskirt, and stiletto heels." So now my finger's hovering over the button. I don't know what to do. I mean, technically I should have chewed them both out, but this is the most action I've seen on the job the whole time I've been there. And I'm not going to pass this up. So I'm like, let's just see where this goes. So he says, "What do you look like?" She goes, "I got blonde hair and double D's and a movie that don't stop." I'm like, oh man, nice. So they start going back and forth. And they start getting kind of cute. Like they're talking about their favorite positions. He's saying he's going to take her up to Tahoe. And she's like, "I really do love doggy style. My favorite is missionary." And I'm thinking, missionary is a totally underappreciated position. There's actually a lot of variety that you can do with that. So I'm looking like a woodchuck, like poking my head out of my cubit, trying to find out who this girl is. And everybody's looking over and seeing the monitor in this suit. And they're all like, "Oh, look busy, look busy." But I don't see anybody's mouth moving just the way hers is moving. She starts talking about what she's going to do, and she says she's got a tongue ring, and she's all, "And you know what that's for." And I totally know what that's for. So I'm like, who is this girl? I gotta find out who she is. They get to this like weird, uncomfortable spot, and I'm like totally hot under the collar at this point. And then he goes, "Oh baby, where were we?" She goes, "I was telling you about the Basics Plus 10. It's our most comprehensive package ever." He's like, "Well, sign me up, baby, sign me up." When I see it on the monitor, he just got signed up for all these things he's never ever gonna use. Three-way calling, call forwarding, select ringing. Like, he could barely pay his bill as it was, and now he's got 70 extra bucks to tack on top of that. It's a 6-month contract at least, so he can't get it turned up. But I heard him confirm the sell twice. He said he wanted it. So they finish up the call, and I gotta find out who this girl is. I don't know her name, I just have her extension, so I go to her manager. "Yo, Lewis, who's 7649? He's all, "Oh God, what'd she do now?" And I have to have a legitimate reason to talk to her, so I'm like, "She turned a delinquent into the plus 10. And so I was thinking we'd give her something out of the swag box." He's all, "She got a plus 10? Because nobody gets a plus 10. Because nobody's stupid enough to buy a plus 10. So I'm like, "Yeah, she got a plus 10. Let's go look it up." So we get the swag box, and it's got all this stuff that you'd never ever want. Company lanyards, like bubble pens, like sunglasses with a logo on it. And then I look and see, and there's a gift certificate for Lois the Pie Queens. And I'm like, I love Lois the Pie Queens. Who doesn't love Lois? So I grabbed the gift certificate. So me and her manager are walking to her desk. I'm in my suit. She looks over and she sees us and she just goes, "Oh shit." And she starts taking her pictures off of her cube and putting them into her purse. And Lewis walks up and goes, "Hey Matt, heard you got a plus 10, way to go," and knocks on her desk. She walks off. I'm sitting there smiling at her all stupid. She's all, "You heard that whole call?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that was pretty hot. Like, how did you even know to do that?" She goes, "I used to be a phone sex operator." And I told him I had operating experience, and that's how I got the job. And I'm like, "Yeah, listen, if anybody heard me hear you do that, we'd both be fired. So you gotta promise me You will never, ever repeat that sales technique again. He's like, I promise, I got a child, I can't lose this job. I'm like, da-da-da. Never again. He's like, I promise, never again. And as I walked away, she flashed her tongue ring at me. I really appreciate everyone coming out. It's good to see the good to see the Ghostbusters. Glad to have Cobra here. It's pretty awesome. Thank you, Stork, for letting us do this too, by the way. This next story is about a good buddy of mine, one of my best friends. He would take a bullet for you, but he's also the reason why that bullet might be coming at you. My buddy Rob knows him. It's my pal Toby. But Toby's always kind of got an edge to him. Like whenever we go out, he might be getting into a fight. And he always wonders why people are such assholes. And it's like, Toby, you know, maybe you should chill out a little bit. I didn't really know where he got it from until I met his dad. His dad used to run drugs for the Hells Angels and ultra violent, shot people with shotguns, got fights with crowbars. I'm like, oh, okay, the apple doesn't far too fall from the tree. And in comparison, Toby's actually a pretty mellow dude. So Brian would have me and Toby come over and do work at his house every now and then. Like yard work and stuff like that. You know, it's something bad with beers. Pay us really well. So Toby calls me up and he's like, yeah, my dad needs some help with the house on Saturday. Why don't you come with me? I'm like, sounds great to me. So I put on my work gear. Toby picks me up. We're almost at the place and I'm like, so what are we doing today? He's all, the roofer's screwed up on the roof. They don't want to fix their screw up without getting more money. And my dad doesn't want to give them any more money. So he's worried there's going to be a fight. And there's 3 of them. So he's bringing you along. So in case there's a 3-on-3, it's an even fight. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to get in a fight. I thought I was going to like break up some leads or something like that. As I mentioned earlier, Toby's got some impulse control issues. He decided to adopt a wolf. It's 3/4 wolf, 1/4 Alaska Husky. It was huge. He was keeping it in his condo. I felt bad for him because it was such a small spot for me. So every time I come over, the wolf's name was Elvis. Every time I come over, I wrestle with Elvis for about 45 minutes and then take him for like a 3-mile walk. So it loved him. I was like his best friend. And every time I came around, it was like, oh, that's fight. At first, I could just throw it around. But by the time I was about 8 months old, it was definitely stronger than me. So I'd have to go for like joint locks and use its own weight against it. I couldn't cheat on it. By the time it was a year, we measured it and it was 8 feet long from the nose to its tail. And when it would growl, like that fact-fitted bears would stand up like the fear of primeval. But it loved me and I loved it. It never actually tried to bite me, but when we fight, it would growl. It would like scare me sometimes, but I knew it was just joking around, so I keep fighting. So we pull up to Toby's dad's house. Toby's dad's keeping the wolf. He's got it on this chain wrapped around a giant safe. One day it actually dragged that safe like across the concrete, put about 1.5 inches through like in the concrete. So this thing was strong, like super strong. It's locked up in the house. We pull up and Toby's dad's all angry, yelling at the guy. The 3 guys are all angry, yelling at Toby's dad, and they're holding group vehicles. So we pull up and we get out. Toby goes and stands in front of his dude. I go stand in front of my dude. The dude I'm like facing off with is like 6'2", probably about 200 pounds, and he's holding a roofing hammer, which is basically like a tomahawk. He like looks me up and down and he gets this like smug look on his face, like I'm gonna kill you. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, he's probably gonna kill me. My whole game plan is just to run away until Toby and his dad beat up their guys, and then it'll be a 3-on-1. I'm just hoping I don't get hit in the head with a passion before that happens.